Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with match number 1 with our Orzhov Enchantments. Yes, we'd like to play first. This is pretty risky, we'll keep it. But we do need more lands. We need to hit into every land drop imaginable. We have a first turn, nothing. But we have our black mana source and another white mana source. We have a suspension field that can take care of a problematic card later on. Doesn't hit a Jace or anything early, but then a Stasis Snare is back up as well. And then the Bloodcurse Knight can hopefully get us back into this game. So, highly looking forward to playing this deck. I think it's going to be a really, really good deck in this particular metagame. So there's going to be Temur, which makes the suspension field exceptional. There is no more Reclamation Sage. This was one of the best ways to get rid of enchantments. Yeah, we actually lost Unravel the Aether too. So, and Back to Nature, all rotated out. So I think the enchantments are pretty decent in the format at the moment. You do have Dromoka's Command, which is the card that's rough. It's going to be a Leaf Gilder. There is like a land destruction deck going around, and I think we actually will Stasis Snare it. I don't want him ramping into a 4-drop. And then next turn we can Bloodcurse Knight or Quarantine Field or Suspension Field. And it's a Lumbering Falls. So he's going to go another Leaf Gilder. The second one, this one's late, so I don't really care about it. I think we will just Bloodcursed. And then have a 4/3 that dodges a Wild Slash. And next turn we have a Sigil. And we'll start getting advantage out of the Sigil. Well, there's Trips. Trips of the Leaf Gilder. And 2 Lumbering Falls, so he has no red mana. Well, let's see what comes out. A Nissa, which this is something we can't suspension field it. We might quarantine field Nissa. Nah, Nissa's still a ways away. If I attack into Bloodcurse Knight, he'd have to 2-for-1 it, and I'm okay with that at this point. Because we do have the backup Myth Realized, so it is just going to attack in with the Bloodcurse Knight. And he does not decide to block, so we'll gain some life, and this is going to be a difficult card for him to deal with, the Sigil. And then we'll be able to suspension field something. This is still, what, isn't it 7? And then it flips. So this is still a ways away. So has 4 cards in his hand and a ton of mana here. But if we draw into a land next turn, we can get rid of 2 permanents, which I think is very, very good. Is Ugin can't quite come out. Dragonlord Atarka can kill the Bloodcurse Knight, but it's something that it did its job. It gained me some life. So it's just a heavy ramp strategy. Quarantine Field land would be the best because I'd get rid of these 2 and get a 4/4 Angel. But if I don't get a land, we can still Myth Realized, get an Angel, and then get rid of the Dragonlord. So this is an old school ramp deck. Not as powerful without Nykthos Shrine of Nyx and Courser Crewfix. And Elvish Mystic Voyaging Satyr, but glad to see something different. Suppression Bonds can get rid of Dragonlord Atarka as well. We're still a turn away from, so it will just be Myth Realized. Gets us an Angel. And then Suspension Field gets us another Angel and an activation on our, or a counter on our Myth Realized. And we have two Angels to pressure our opponent, who is down to a 14. Could have another Dragonlord Atarka. It's a Thunderbrick Regent, which only trades with an Angel. Starfield of Nyx is very interesting because this might just be lethal if we Starfield. So we could attack in for 4. So we Starfield, we get a Sigil that's a 5/5, and he'd have to block a Stasis Snare, which he'd block the Thunderbrick Regent though. And then it opens it up. This is like a scenario I don't really like. I think Quarantine Field and Thunderbrick Regent, or just Suppression Bonding the Thunderbrick Regent might be the right play. And then we swing in for 8, and then he really has to deal with some more Angels. Yeah, this puts him on like a... This does 3 damage to me by targeting the Thunderbrick Regent. But now it can't block. And we could actually activate the Mithrilize and attack in. I'll keep it back as a blocker. This is a deck I'll probably bring in the Planar Outburst. I think it's worth it. It might take out the Blood Curse Knights. We'll see. But he's immediately down to a 6. And we have some decent blockers through the Mithralized and an Angel token. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nissa now becomes a Planeswalker, which can put a legendary creature, 4/4 creature on the battlefield, or he can go go look for a land off the top. Which he finds another... There's 4 of the Leaf Guilders. He found them all. And Thunderbrick number 2. But he doesn't actually even have enough to block the Angels. And so we could just Stasis Snare. On the Thunderbrick Regent. I believe he was dead anyway, but it's just more value out of the Sigil. So Transgress actually seems okay in this match. So does Utter End. Like the good news is most of our cards are very good against his deck. I think I'll take out the Starfields. Stranglers, I'm going to bring in Stranglers. I'm gonna bring in 1 panic button for the Planar Outburst, just in case that he is basically going through creatures to... Yeah, Suppression Bond seems a little bit weak in this particular matchup. Surge can take care of an Atarka, but I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to bring in a Citadel Siege. We're just going to try it. And Utter Ends are fine. I think that we could take out Blood Curse Knights. He didn't seem to have a lot of removal. He did have a lot of ways to block these. Mithrilize did seem kind of slow. Quarantine Field is fine. Read the Bones is also fine. Suspension Field. I think I'm going to take out a few reads, though. We'll keep 2. We don't want to do too much damage to ourselves. I just won Helm of the Gods. I think this is... Well, I did want to try Transgress the Mind. I could just miss, but it looks like he's ramping. I think we run all of them. Duress doesn't need to come out though. I still want the Helm. Maybe a few Myth realized. Let's go down to 1 utter End. I think we have... Well, we want to get these Wasteland Stranglers online. So, Quarantine Field, Blood Curse Knights are still okay. I don't know. Let's just cut the Read the Bones just to try this route. Yeah. Planar Outburst times 1 as a panic button. Do we need 2 Planar Outbursts? Planar Outburst kills our own. I'm just going to play one Planar Outburst. Suspension Field is actually kind of weird. I'm going to just go down to 2 Suspension Fields, come back up a Planar Outburst, and then we can bring back in a Read the Bones. That's just a 1-of. I don't know. We're going to have to get used to this deck of what to side in and what to side out versus particular matchups. So I think we keep this. It's got control and enough lands for a while. There's our Shambling Vent. Nothing to Silkwrap this turn. So we'll put another tap land. And see if he puts out like a Nissa. I'll probably keep up my spell Stasis Snare. Nah, we'll definitely Blood Curse Knight here if he still doesn't have a play, and that actually sets up a Citadel Siege. See if he's got like a Wild Slash. So far, just 3 Frontiers. And that's most likely a Rattleclaw Mystic, so we'll Silkwrap it. Could Citadel Siege. I don't care about Citadel at this point. I mean, we could have a huge Blood Curse Knight. We could actually name... Oh, but at this point, I don't think we need to. It's just going to be Silkwrapping his Rattleclaw to try to prevent a fast Atarka. And it was a Rattleclaw. Like I said, this is probably just a heavy ramp deck. Trying to get a fast target. Don't know how well the deck does in the metagame right now with Wild Slash being in almost every deck that can include it. So it's going to be tough for Rattleclaws and Leaf Gilders to actually get advantage. Now here we can... I think we just put out the better card, which is the Sigil. Sigil's tough for him. And he does have a counter. Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. We get in here for 4. And we're up to a 29. Have a backup Silkwrap. 6 mana. Yeah, I don't care about a Leaf Gilder at this point. See if he's got like another Disdainful Stroke. So, Citadel Siege. And there's the other Disdainful Stroke. But I think we'll Silkwrap his Leaf Gilder. And he's down to an 8, and we have 2 backup control cards. Like, if he does have a Tarka, that's 7. He could, yeah, Tarka could actually kill the Blood Curse Knight, and then we're kind of grasping at straws here. We do have the Shambling Vent we can always activate. And he's down to 1 card after that. So Dragonlord Atarka will kill off the Blood Curse Knight. And I'm just going to Stasis Snare it right now before there's any option for counter magic. And then pass. Found all 4 of them. Now it's just going to be activating the event. Oh, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful draw. Because this will give it +3/+3. And so black, white, 1. Activate the Shambling Vent and equip. And now I think he needs to activate his Lumbering Falls. He does not. Alright, so he's down to a 2. And now it falls off and becomes a land again. And now he's got to find something next turn that he can do to stop the vent. That is actually a pretty decent card, other than we can get rid of both of them with the Quarantine Field. He could have like another Disdainful Stroke in his hand. Well, this is actually the better play. We'll Stasis Snare his Whisperwood. And he scoops. Alright, so, I mean, the Stasis Snare would have taken care of it. In the Wasteland Strangler, I wanted to show you how it works with Wasteland Strangler. You can actually exile something under one of the cards. So, win the first match quite easily. We'll go on to the next match. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Playing on a Budget. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Gathering Magic and check out our Playing on a Budget playlist, which contains every episode. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon.